Brandon and Julia are about to drop a huge bombshell, and surprise surprise, his mum and dad are not happy.
I was almost thinking maybe in the beginning that this was just a joke, and then when I realized that no, this was no joke, and it hit home, I just got overwhelmed. I'm just totally overwhelmed, and I just had to go cry it out for a while.
Now, the last time we saw Brandon and Julia, we joined them on a 10-hour road trip from Richmond, Virginia to Ocala, Florida. The reason for the trip? Well, having met someone on a cruise, Julia was under the impression that she was about to get offered a job.
Julia and I just recently went on a cruise with my parents, and we met a guy, Mark. He owns a painting company in Ocala, Florida, and he was telling about how we could move to Ocala and he'd help us.
Unfortunately, things didn't quite pan out as the pair expected. While Julia was under the impression that Mark would need her design skills for his company, the truth was, he wasn't looking to hire a designer at all.
What I do, what I can do. I have a degree designer.
This time, I can't hire you as in my company as a painting contractor, commercial, residential. I'm not capable of using a designer in my company.
And while the episode ended with the move to Ocala looking very unlikely, it turned out that subsequently, after their visit, Mark did in fact offer both Brandon and Julia jobs in his company.
Even though Mark cannot give Julia a job in design, he did say that he could hire us as painters just until we find what we want to do.
So, having taken up this kind stranger on his offer, we learn that Brandon has handed in his resignation from his pest control job, and they've also let the lease on their apartment expire.
I was definitely hesitant about moving to Florida, but after talking with Mark, we decided to take the leap. I had to quit my job. I was a pest control technician and gave him a 1-month notice. We're moving to Florida!
Now, for all the excitement, there is a slight problem. The whole while that they've been planning their move to Ocala, they've kept it completely secret from Brandon's parents.
We never told my parents we went down to Florida to meet Mark, or that we're even thinking about moving down to Florida. So this is gonna be a huge surprise for them.
I'm worried Betty gonna hate me forever because I'm trying to take Brandon away from her.
So, as they wave goodbye to the apartment that they've been living in for the past year, their plan is to temporarily move back in with Brandon's parents at their farm.
Mark's agreed to let us stay with him until we find our own place. But he's not ready for us yet, so until then, my parents have agreed to let us live on the farm with them.
Now, bearing in mind that Brandon's parents have no clue at all about the move to Florida or the fact that Brandon's just resigned from his job, they see Brandon returning home as a cause for celebration.
I got the champagne.
Let's go have a toast.
Let's go have a toast.
Get the glasses.
Get the glasses.
All right, let's go. All right, guys.
You ready, guys?
Wait for it.
Little do they know that within minutes, that happiness is about to turn into anger. For their part, Brandon and Julia both reveal that they're very worried about how Brandon's parents will take the news.
I just see how this can go. I can see how it could be really, I feel horrible that we're gonna have to ruin this day.
So, as they cheers to the fact that Brandon and Julia have returned to the farm, Brandon's dad takes the opportunity to lecture them about how now is the time to sort their lives out.
It's been a whole year since you guys have been gone, and I'll tell you, it's really good to have you guys back.
But the reality is now you need to focus. Take the time while you're here to start planning your future.
Sensing that this is his opportunity to break his big news, Brandon reveals to his parents that they do in fact have some plans. Now, before he reveals what those plans are, his mum appears hopeful that they're about to announce the purchase of the house next door. But sadly, that's not to be.
You're not trying to say next door, are you?
No, I'm not.
I can tell.
I'm gonna say Florida.
No.
Well, that's your choice.
Shut up.
Yeah, that didn't go too well. As expected, Brandon's mum is not in favour of that move. In fact, she's not sure if this is all just a joke.
No, you're joking with me, right? You are joking with me. Florida. No.
It's only when Brandon reveals that he's quit his job that the news sinks in, and that news appears like it's too much for Betty to bear. Without saying a word, she gets up and storms off.
I've quit my job already.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I've already quit. I'm already quit.
What?
Yeah.
Are you really going to Florida?
Yes.
With Betty out of the room, Brandon and Julia tell Ron more about their plans, and the more he hears, the more his disbelief and anger grow.
You remember Mark?
Do you remember Mark?
Mark.
We met him on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
We were working for his company for first time, painting company.
So you'd be painters? I gotta tell you, this is really falling apart for me.
When Betty rejoins the conversation, having had a little cry,
I had to go cry it out for a while.
Ron resumes his interrogation, and you can tell from the tone of his voice that he's getting angry.
So, 4 years of college and you're gonna paint a house?
But for start,
For a start, did he promise you a job as a designer?
no, he had promised.
No, he did not.
And then he switches his attention from his daughter-in-law to his son. "What are you gonna do for work, Brandon?" he asks him. Brandon's answer seems to just infuriate him even more.
And what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna might paint too to start.
Oh, you're gonna paint houses
When you have a
too!
great
I could-
job.
Great idea!
It's only when they ask Brandon and Julia how much they're set to earn from their new jobs does Betty and Ron's anger appear to die down.
How much was he saying you guys would make a year?
Oh, well, 1,000 a week.
Each?
Yeah.
That's good dollars. I mean, you
benefits,
can
yeah.
live
But as
nice.
long as you have benefits.
But despite being impressed with Brandon and Julia's potential earnings, in their confessional, Ron and Betty admit that this has caught them completely off guard, and they're very unhappy about it. In particular, the fact that it was all kept secret from them.
And
We're gonna
lo
be
and
doing-
behold, they have been making plans to move to another state.
Not even talking to us, not even telling us anything, and just bringing it on me. I don't do well
That
with
was
change
not.
like
That was
that.
not a good plan.
I just got overwhelmed. I'm just totally overwhelmed.
As for Brandon and Julia, well, they appear surprised by just how negative the reaction has been. I'm not quite sure what they were expecting, but it seems they weren't expecting this.
We waiting support from that. For he say, okay guys, this is your choice. Let's go do this. But we hear completely different and he angry.
The episode ends with Brandon's mum reiterating her stance. She doesn't want them to leave.
But I am mentally and emotionally completely drained right
I am
now, and I need
too.
a good night's sleep. And I really don't want you to go to Florida.
Is this a case of clingy parents refusing to let go? Or do you understand Ron and Betty's view? Do you feel any sympathy for them given their age and their farm duties? Plus, of course, Ron's recent cancer scare. Does that make it okay for them to want to keep their only child close by? Let's continue the conversation down in the comments below. If you missed my last video all about the job offer and the man who's offered it, then check out this video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.